Hi, this is Jeannie in the kitchen. I know, it has been a long time since I have last done a video. I've just been busy. I prefer doing still shots versus videos, but every now and then I still do a video. So today I am making some lemon almond scones. My friend Karen is visiting out here from California. She's my camera woman at the moment. But
hello.
You just heard her. She said hello to all of you. So per her request, we are making some lemon almond scones. Really simple, easy recipe. All we've done so far is we've put 2 cups of all-purpose flour in our food processor. And we've cubed up 8 ounces or 1 stick of cold butter. You want it cold. We're going to make a pastry out of it with our scones. And part of the reason why you want it cold is because you don't want things to get over blended or too soft. And scones are known for being very light and airy and fluffy, so we're not going to over mix anything. Everything's just going to be pretty easy peasy and simple. So I already cubed my butter and I'm throwing it all over my kitchen. We weren't planning on doing a video at the time, so we weren't set up for it. But as you see, my butter is cut up into about the size of a pea. That's what you're looking for. Okay. You don't want it too big, but you just want it about the size of a pea. So, believe it or not, I'm actually going to do my best to follow a recipe, not something I do a whole heck of a lot of, but we're going to do my best to follow a recipe. So, we've got our flour and our butter in here. We're going to do 6 tablespoons of granulated sugar. And we're just going to add it all into our butter and flour combination. So, like I said, bear with me because this was kind of an impromptu thing. And this is just regular granulated sugar, 6 tablespoons. And we're going to add it in with our butter and flour. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we want 1/2 teaspoon of regular salt. See, I do actually measure things. I do. Not always, but every now and then. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We're going to put it right in there with that. We're going to do 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And for baking powder, most of you, if you bake, you know, it has a little lip here. That little lip on the edge of the can, that's for you to measure it properly and to scoop it out.
Level it out.
So if you start out like this, you just level it out like that. That's 1 teaspoon. Do the same thing for the second one. 2 teaspoons. And 1/2 teaspoon. We're going to put it all in there with that. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of lemon zest. I'm lazy. I like to conserve as much as I can. I buy my lemon zest. It tastes just as good as if you're actually zesting it from a lemon. So,
do you use the same amount of lemon zest that's pre-done as?
You use the same amount. Excellent question. So it says 2 tablespoons of lemon zest. I find it tastes the same as regular. So we've got our 2 tablespoons of lemon zest in there with our mix. And now we've got all of our dry ingredients put in there. And we're just going to mix it up on my pulse. And we're going to pulse it for like 30 seconds. Make sure it's all locked. Okay, so we're not trying to make it, we don't want the butter completely in there. So I'm bringing it out. It's kind of like sand. And that's what you're looking for. And that's all our dry ingredients. We're going to put that in there for right now.
That wasn't even close to 30 seconds.
No, it doesn't take very long at all. You're just trying, because if you over blend it, it's going to mix it too much and it's going to make it mushy and it's going to make it tough. So we've got all that done. Now, we're going to add all of our liquid ingredients. Now, this says you can do it in a separate bowl. We're going to put it all in here. So we're going to do 1 egg, just crack it in. Okay, crack it in.
And what's the difference if you make it in a separate bowl or if you just put it in?
There isn't any difference in that. So 1 egg, and we're going to do 1 teaspoon of almond extract.
Yum.
Get my teaspoon out here, and this is a very fragrant, aromatic almond.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's so good.
So 1 teaspoon of almond extract, and we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. I use all kinds of vanilla, but we go to Mexico quite often, and we get these big bottles that are, I think it's a quart, for literally like 10 or 11 bucks in Mexico, and this will last me a long time. So just going to put in 1/2 teaspoon or a dash more of vanilla, and we're just going to pulse it all up until it makes a dough.
Do we put in the lemon juice now or no?
Oh, and the lemon juice, and it is 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So thank you. 2 tablespoons, or it says if you want to use a regular fresh lemon, 1/2 lemon, but 2 tablespoons is equal to about 1/2 lemon. And you just want the juice. And again, I like things nice and easy and convenient. So they taste the same. They're the exact same thing. I buy it this way. So we have the bulk of our ingredients in, and we're just going to mix it up until everything mixes together and kind of forms a soft dough.
So we're not pulsing, we're just mixing.
We're just mixing it, and we don't want it for too long. Okay, so it's kind of a soft dough, kind of flaky. We can mix it up even a little bit more if we want, but you don't want it too hard, because for scones particularly, I'm going to mix it a little bit longer, not much. Scones particularly, you don't want them to be, you want them nice and flaky, and that should be good. Funny story.
Wait, I feel like we're missing moisture. What about the whipping cream?
Like I said, I'm following a direct. Yes, we are missing moisture. Thank you, Karen. She's also my assistant. I need to put in 8 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. So, see, like I said, I wasn't prepared for this, and that's what makes it fun.
I'm sorry.
No, it wouldn't have turned out right. So
I'm like that.
apologize.
I know that doesn't look right.
Don't apologize. So we want 8 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream, and I use a lot of heavy whipping cream for a lot of recipes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're almost there. Almost. 7, and last but not least, number 8. And just to make sure that we get everything, because with baking you want everything to be exact, I'm going to clean out my tablespoon and get the last little bit of it. Alright, let's mix it again. Let's try it again and see if it comes out the way we want it to. Ready, go! Oh, that's looking much nicer. It's forming into a dough. I'm going to put it on high for a little bit. There we go. Just a little bit. All right.
That's good.
Now,
Yes.
I think, yes, now we're at the right consistency.
There we go.
See, that didn't take very long at all. And
Let's just go again.
okay. So, the beauty of scones, you can use whatever shape cookie cutter you want. Sometimes you've seen some of my scones, I make them freeform. There's no right or wrong way. I mean, just like with any cooking, it's... Sorry, that's Vinny. He decided he wanted to say hello. The beauty is you can make them how you want. Cooking's not rocket science. Make it how you want. Do what you like. And, you know, you're the one that's going to eat it. So ultimately, make what you like. So see how nice and even and uniform these are coming? And like I said, if you want to cut them in half, make them smaller, you can. If you want to do a different shape, you can. If you want to do them freeform, you can. It's up to you. It's whatever you want to do. This looks like it's going to give us roughly about a dozen scones. So we have more. I'm going to put just a tad more flour. And again, it's just in my wrist. It's just a quick little
Like throwing a frisbee.
Like throwing a frisbee, exactly. Same thing, we're gonna pat it out, and we'll continue doing this until we're out of dough. And that would be Juno, my wolf baby. So now you're meeting both of two of my 4 fur babies. These are a little thick. I'm gonna redo them again.
See, that's how we usually make them.
Oh, you want them thick like that?
No, I'm just saying that's how we usually make them. They're about 3/4 of an inch thick.
Okay.
Like, or an inch thick, and then they rise, and then they're about an inch and a half thick, or 2 inches thick.
So ours aren't gonna be as thick as ours, but that's okay.
No, that's okay. I'm just saying.
And we have a little bit more. We have enough for maybe about 2 more scones.
And maybe that's why the scone recipe in the book said 1 pound of flour, right? Because you need them thicker.
Yeah, probably. So that one's a little bit thicker. So a funny story, my dad was from Australia, my mother was from Texas. My dad, you know, Australia at the time was part of the English Commonwealth. And, you know, it used to be the sun never set on the British Empire. And so when my dad married my mom, he asked for scones. He wanted her to make scones. She had no idea what she was doing. She had no idea what a scone was. She tried and tried and tried and did all these things. She finally gave up because she could never get it right, and she made biscuits. And my dad was like, that's what I wanted all the time. So there you go. So our biscuits, our scones are cut. Like I said, we've got a couple that are half and a couple that are, most of them are whole. And now we're just gonna put them on a cookie sheet that I have lined with parchment paper. And we want them about 1 inch apart. You don't want them to overcrowd because they will rise a little bit. So just kind of scatter them about. And we have the oven set at 400 degrees. And we're going to pop them in there for about 15 to 18 minutes. And once they're done, let them cool completely. Let them cool completely once they're done. And your choice, before we pop them in the oven, we're gonna put some slivered almonds on them. But once they're cooled, if you like a glaze, you can add a lemon glaze. If you don't want them, that's fine. And I apologize, my children they're acting up at the moment. You can serve it with clotted cream. You can serve it with creme fraiche. You can eat them plain as they are. You can serve them with lemon curd. There's all kinds of different ways. So I have some slivered almonds we're going to put on top of these and kind of press in lightly. And then we're going to put them in the oven, like I said, for about 15 to 18 minutes, or it varies. I mean, you want them to be kind of... So we're just going to put them on like so, and then I'm going to kind of pat them in. So I'm not putting a lot of almonds, and these are the really thin sliced slivered almonds. You can toast them ahead of time, but there's no need to because they're going to toast up in the oven when you're baking your scones. So we're just going to put a little tiny bit on each one and pat them in so they don't fly all over the place. Just lightly. And I'm not really measuring. I'm going to say probably in total I'll have maybe half a cup of slivered almonds. Maybe. Something like that. So we're just going to put all these in, pat them in nice and nicely. There's some more here. And I apologize, my children are acting up. I have wild children. Everybody thinks they're so cute. They don't know how much of pills they actually are.
That's because they are so cute.
Well, Auntie Kate spoils them. There it is, Auntie KK, in case you hadn't kind of figured that out.
That looks good.
Okay, we're just going to lightly pat these in. My oven is nice and hot at 400 degrees. You wanted it a nice hot oven, and you want them hot before you put the scones in. That's to help with the rising.
Does your recipe say to brush the top?
Does our recipe say to brush the top?
Yeah.
Like
with egg wash or?
No.
Okay.
So Karen brought up a really good question. I'm reading it from the recipe, and it says tip the dough onto a lightly floured work surface. Shape the dough into a circle about 3/4 of an inch thick. Using a sharp knife, divide the dough into 8 even triangles, which we decided we didn't want to do. Place the dough on a lined or greased baking sheet about 1 inch apart and bake for 15 to 18 minutes. So this particular recipe that I pulled up says you don't need to brush them with any kind of an egg wash or anything.
And maybe it's because it has an attached glaze.
And that's probably right. Karen, I don't know if you heard that through my children. Some actually call for an egg wash and some do not. And so this particular recipe calls for a lemon glaze. And again, that's an optional thing. If you're going to do the lemon glaze, it's simply just butter, melted butter, powdered sugar, lemon juice, and almond extract. And you mix it all together, and then you just spoon it on top of your scones once they're cooled and they're ready to go. So you probably don't need an egg wash for that very reason. So I'm going to pop these in the oven, and then I will see you in a bit, because these just need to bake up and we're done. So my oven's nice and hot.
Does it matter if they go one above the other, Jamie, or do they have to be at the same level?
No. You want them to bake evenly, and I have a convection oven, so the air rotates around, but you want them to bake evenly. Some recipes actually say put only one in at a time. Mm-hmm. Some it doesn't say, so just follow your recipe, know your oven, that's the important thing. Now my oven actually takes a little bit longer than a lot of other ovens, and I think, and I don't know for sure, it's because I live at high altitude. So I think that makes my cooking time a little bit longer than others. So I'm going to sign off for a minute, or about 18 or so minutes, and I will catch you in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so our scones are in the oven. We have about 7 minutes left, and then they will come out hopefully nice and golden brown and beautiful and delicious. And while we're doing that, we are making our lemon extract, our glaze. So I have, I've had a little bit too much wine. I'm visiting with friends. I'm gonna drink wine, but I always do. I digress. So anyway, I have 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, and I have 3 tablespoons of melted butter. We're just gonna put that in. And we have 3 tablespoons of lemon juice that we're going to put into our little mixture, because we're going to make this a nice lemony glaze. So we got 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do 1 teaspoon of almond extract, and that's all we need for our glaze. That's it. So we've decided that we are going to do half of our scones with glaze and half of our scones without. But I really just wanted to show you how we make it. And so I'm just going to whisk it all together like so. And it's going to be nice and liquidy and lemony. And it can be kind of thick. And you can always add, believe it or not, I followed the recipe. Exactly, I did. And it's going to thicken up a little bit. You can add more powdered sugar if you want to kind of thicken it up too. And that's it. That's all it takes. So we're going to put that on when the scones are completely cooled. And then we'll go from there. So when Karen came out to visit me, she gave me this wonderful cookbook that I am going to let her explain the significance behind this. And it just, the story behind it is just, it just touched my heart like you wouldn't believe. The fact that my good friend gave it to me was gift enough, but the story behind it made it even more special. So Karen, I'm going to let you explain this. She's hating me at the moment. She's cursing me out. It was a gift from her great-great-grandmother. She's being a little shy. This wonderful cookbook Karen is originally from England, and this is a British cookbook from her great-great-grandmother, and we discovered last night it was published in 1936. So, like I said, the story behind this, it touched my heart, and it makes this gift so much more special than just a regular cookbook, which is a big gift in and of itself. But the fact that it's her great-great-grandmother's really makes it special to me. And like I said, we used her great aunt, her great aunt's Eva, her scone cutter. Yep. So this is a family recipe.
It is a very family recipe.
We're going to cut out for a little bit because at the moment we're just waiting for the scones to pop out of the oven. So I'll catch you again in a few. Talk to you a little bit. We are back. Our scones are done. They're lightly browned on the bottom. All of them are lightly browned on the bottom. Nice and light on the top. And they're very light and very fluffy, and they just break and crumble really easily. We had to test them a little bit. While we made our glaze, and our glaze is nice and thick and it's ready to go. And so I just whisked it all together, and we're just gonna literally drizzle it on as such. And then these will be done. And we decided we're gonna do half with and half without. So it's just a light glaze. You can't see it too much, but it's gonna add a lot of flavor and make them really moist. And our lemon almond scones will be done.
You should probably just put them on them all.
Put them on them all?
Yeah.
Karen's decided we're gonna, since this was her idea, her recipe, I'm following her lead. She said put them on all of them. So we're gonna drizzle a little bit of the glaze on all of our scones. Just a little tiny bit. You don't want it too much. You don't want them overbearing because it is nice and lemony. And almond, it has both lemon juice and almond extract in the glaze, along with the powdered sugar and the melted butter. And we're almost done with these. And then, you know, just
That's Larry's bit.
and that's Larry's little bit. Larry gets a little tiny bit. You know, we'll just plate these up, whatever we don't eat tonight, and our scones are good. They're good to go, and they are done. And that is the last little tiny bit. And this has been Jeannie from A Jeannie in the Kitchen, and my wonderful camera person and assistant Karen. And Vinny just came up. He might get a cameo. Come here, Vinnies.
Hey,
this
little
is my
honey
big
pie.
boy, Vinny. This is my handsome big boy, Vinny. He wanted to test the scones and be with Mommy. But till next time, this is Jeannie from A Jeannie in the Kitchen, and I will see you soon.